Now to another story. The People's Democratic Party says that the All Progressives Congress and the federal government are clamping down on major opposition leaders, perceived political opponents, and individuals with interests and views that are divergent to those of their presidential aspirant. The state that they clamp down is tailored to silence opposition, as well as those who refuse to join or support the APC in their unlawful design to emasculate other political parties, undermine the Nigerian laws and electoral system, foist a one-party state, and perpetuate their incompetent, dysfunctional, and anti-people rule on the nation. That's according to the PDP. It was a press conference yesterday in Abuja. Take a listen.
It is instructive to inform that our leaders, particularly our national chairman, Prince Uche Secondus, have been receiving threats since the PDP filed a petition to the United Nations and the Commonwealth, dating documented threats to democracy by the APC and its federal government, abuse of human rights, persecution of opposition, and unabated constitutional violations. The PDP is aware of clandestine plots against key opposition leaders, particularly members of the People's Democratic Party National Working Committee, some dissenting members of the APC, members of the civil society, opinion leaders, journalists and bloggers who refuse to succumb to intimidations, and that such persons have already been listed and are currently being trailed by agents of the state. This has become manifest in the plot to rope members of the NPDP, especially those in the National Assembly, into gun running and murder charges.
Well, then, suspended APC deputy spokesperson Mr. Timmy Frank has written to President Muhammadu Buhari an open letter. He apologized to former President Goodluck Jonathan in that letter for all what he called these tantrums and mistreatment orchestrated by him against his person while he held sway at the helm of affairs in the party. Timmy Frank alleges that life is worthless under President Muhammadu Buhari, insisting that the change he and others clamored for is not what they got. Tonight on the program, we'll get the presidency to react to the PDP's allegations and that of Mr. Timmy Frank. Up next on the program, PDP accuses APC of clampdown on major opposition leaders and perceived political opponents. Is the APC muzzling dissenting voices? We'll dissect that after this break. And welcome back, everyone. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party is alleging that the federal government is victimizing dissenting voices. Also, the suspended APC deputy spokesperson, Timmy Frank, who the party says is not qualified to carry the title chieftain, wrote President Muhammadu Buhari an open letter to express his disappointment in the APC-led federal government. The special advisor on media and publicity to President Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. Femi Adesina, joins us on the telephone on Skype from Abuja to answer to some of these issues. Thank you so much, Mr. Adesina, for your time on the program tonight. First of all, let's take some of these issues raised by the PDP about the government muzzling opposition. Are you concerned with some of these allegations?
Well, when you introduced this topic, you needed to have seen the laughter, the uproar that came from me. I laughed so much I almost tumbled from my chair because it is very ridiculous and laughable. I looked at my friend and colleague, Kola Olobody, of speaking. If not that I know him well, because we are tribesmen. By tribesmen, I mean we are from the media constituency. If not that I had known him for some time, I would have said, is codeine or tramadol at work? Because those allegations are simply ridiculous and laughable. There are certain things that are characteristic of a government, of an administration. By now, 3 years into this government, people know what is characteristic of the Muhammadu Buhari administration. And all those things that came from the PDP spokesman are alien to this government completely.
Mr. Additional, a lot of people will want to ask some very big question, especially when he talks about the rule of law and how the government is handling some issues. For example, there are court judgments or court rulings in the cases of Mr. Sambo Dasuki, in the case of Mr. Elza Zazaki, and where members of the family said they don't even know his whereabouts, as perhaps lost one of his eyes. There are issues regarding the obedience to judgment by this government on cases that are in court, and the question will be, is the government aware of some of these judgments, or are there some other reasons that the government is taking this position?
I would not want to belabor the issues you have raised because they are outside my purview. They reside in the purview of the Attorney General of the Federation. He has responded to these matters before. You may recall what he has said, or if you want fresh explanation, you may get in touch with him. They are outside the purview of a spokesman, really. Once the Attorney General has spoken on it, then take the position of the Attorney General as the correct one.
So, yeah, I mean, exactly the question we're asking, Mr. Additional, in relation to what the PDP is saying, these are some of the issues raised about obedience to the rule of law, obedience to court judgment and ruling, and the issues that are relating to the rights of average citizen, and some of them who they think that are dissenting voices, especially when it comes to perhaps, they also raise the issue of the Nigerian police and the way they have handled their activities, and all of these people, they say answer to the president. These are the allegations from the PDP, and perhaps you may want to answer to them specifically.